Additional services of some sort? Are you anticipating some increased investment?
No, this is based entirely on what our operating statement told us when we received it this year on the operations in the Fort Worth Metropolitan Exchange.
How much money will this involve?
Well, it'll be approximately $4.5 million, and this amounts to about 11.8% increase in annual revenues over 1969.
And I would not be able to tell you whether there are any scheduled for shutdown in this area or not.
As you confirmed this morning, our aircraft purchases for defense is at its lowest level since the 1930s, and yet the F-111F is reported to be the best of the series, and now funds are unavailable for its purchase. Will the Air Force get the F?
I believe almost certainly it will, yes. Although the final action, of course, rests with the Congress.
Do you think the Congress is going to vote your way?
Yes.
From an engineering standpoint, suitable. From a geological standpoint, suitable. And which would be suitable when the economics of the disposal of so much solid waste is involved.
The Post Office Subcommittee of the House of Representatives, Post Office Civil Service Committee, at my request, is investigating postal operations in several areas in Texas. I've had good reason to believe that Washington postal officials have decided to make Texas the target of the most cost-cutting and service-reducing experiments in the Post Office Department for all over the country. Well, I mailed out the notices last Tuesday. They did not get the notices that I sent them until about a week later. That's my reaction to that. And all of them were notified, and all of them were given the same notice, but some of them didn't get their mail.
Arlington received a welcome economic vitamin shot today with the announcement of the Vantage Company's Six Flags Business Park. The 500-acre site is adjacent to Six Flags Amusement Park. It fronts here on the north side of Highway 80, along the west side of 360, with the Dallas-Fort Worth Turnpike on the north. The park will include such things as high and low-rise office buildings, research and technology facilities, motor hotels, high-rise hotels, office warehousing facilities, manufacturing plants, and major shopping center, along with a multifamily townhouse complex. The luncheon announcement of the reputed $500 million development came from Vantage President John Eulich, Arlington Mayor Tom Vandergriff, and Duncan McFarlan, Senior Vice President of the Southwestern Home Office of Prudential Insurance Co. in Houston. Prudential will furnish the original financing on the first phase of the project. Quite an economic boost to Arlington and to the entire Mid-Cities area. Art Sinclair, Channel 8 News on the Move, Arlington.
It's the most simplified form because this has always had some opposition, but this is a very simple form, and while the Equal Rights Amendment has been passed twice before by the Senate, it has always carried the Hayden Rider, which simply removes equality from the amendment.
Well, I think a lot of people feel that we already have equal rights. What really is it going to accomplish?
Well, women do not have any fundamental right to protection of the laws under the Constitution. It's one of the big voids in the Constitution and should have been remedied long ago. There is no statement in the Constitution accepting women. There's nothing setting them apart, but they have never been specifically named. Now, there are people who say that Amendment number 5 and Amendment 14 and Title VII of the Civil Rights Law grants women equal rights, but the Supreme Court has never recognized these decisions as applying to women.
Well, every Air Force installation around the world is being subjected to careful scrutiny in the light of declining Air Force budgets to decide which among those installations we're going to have to shut down for economy reasons. And those air bases and installations in Texas are no exception.
Mr. Serrault, why do you need the increase in rates?
Well, recently we received our operating statement for the year 1969, and looking back over the past 10 years, we see a steady deterioration of our earnings here in Fort Worth and Arlington.
Does this have anything to do with the increased service that you've had to install in the area?
We've made numerous investments in new plant, buildings, switching equipment, and the necessary items in order to provide continuing service to our customers here in Fort Worth and Arlington. So yes, it does depend upon this if we continue our service at the level we're providing now.
Fort Worth constitutes one of the large population concentrations. In this area, then, Dallas and Fort Worth have large semi-rural areas into which the populated area must transport solid waste generated in the city limits. One of the large problems in the Dallas-Fort Worth area then will be the acquisition of suitable sites.
Today I'd like to make two things very clear. First, I'm not implying any criticism of the Texas employees of the Post Office Department or of their supervisors. My concern and this investigation that I have asked to be launched are aimed at the policy-making level of the Post Office Department. Secondly, of course, I'm not opposed to efficiencies or cost-reducing operations in Postal Department, but I am opposed to Texas being used as the area that experimentation is done for just cutting costs when service is already at as low a level as it is.
City Council does not agree to the complete rate increase. Will you have